Okay, let's see. So what's going on, Israel? This is Brother Kayan. I want to start by saying Barakatah Yahweh, Wa Yahweh Shah, Hamashayak. Um, and we finna go over the sheet. That's basically for a lot of brothers and sisters that basically received it, through the seeds that's been being planted out here, getting this work on, you know, this labor, doing this labor. So this is basically gonna be a quick guide for everybody that has the sheet, and obviously you will have the sheet if you're watching this video. It's a worksheet for the things that's put here as revelations and the scriptures to back them up. So I just want to take this first video to address. We're gonna go over line 1, which is first and foremost, the name of this worksheet is Rich by Heritage Israel, as you can see. And these are the actual truths that's been covered up, from the so-called Negro man, which is, in fact, different from the African. We are not Africans, but that's another discussion, another topic. The actual truths covered up from the Negro man, woman, and children. Now, the first thing we're gonna get into proving this first revelation, which is Negroes are the people of the Bible. How do we do that? We're gonna go to what we have. Prove all things. And we're gonna use these scriptures. So we're gonna go to the first scripture we have, which is Deuteronomy 28:68. This is the most profound one. That's undeniable. So here we go. Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. And I am reading out of the KJV, which is the closest translation to the original Hebrew. All right. So once again, Deuteronomy 28 verse 68. Here we go. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. Now, let's read that one more time. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So he's saying the Lord's going to bring you into Egypt again with ships. Now, anybody that know the story of the Israelites, because this is who this line is being, who these words are being spoken to from the prophet Mashah. You know him as Moses. I'm sorry, brain fart. But pretty much, that's something to be known too when you're reading these scriptures. Who is the audience and who's talking? So the audience right now, obviously, is you, but in the ancient times it was the Israelites, and this was Mashah talking. So he's telling them, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So as I was saying, if you know anything about the story of Exodus, the Israelites, they were so they weren't sold, but they were slavery. They were in slavery in the land of Egypt, which is also known as Mizraim. And how they got there is another topic, but long story short, they were in Egypt, and they served slavery there, under the Pharaoh. The story, how the father, hardened Pharaoh, the Pharaoh heart or whatever. So they did that bit, and they came out of Egypt. Moses was used to bring them out. To going on to parting the Red Sea. First and foremost, bringing all the plagues over Egypt, killing the firstborn. Then being used to part the Red Sea and lead the children of Israel through it, thus killing the father killing the Egyptians that chased after him, and he had them do that. Another topic though, but killed them, and they ended up making it out. And during the walk, which is a 40-year walk out of Egypt, from the land of Egypt, being delivered from their slavery, the slavery bid, uh, which was one of many. Now, they went on to get the law and stuff like that. Now, that's simple. So they they had already been to Egypt. Simply, they already been to Egypt once. So this is being told to them after coming out of Egypt. Now, when you go on to read the Bible, they never went back into Egypt again. When you go on to read the Bible, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen to the children of Israel. They don't go back into the land of Egypt. And the land of Egypt was made desolate. And I believe that's in the book of, well, we won't get into that. But they never went back into Egypt, whole point. So this has to be talking about, this word Egypt must mean something. Now we're going to flip to, I'm going to use a couple scriptures to prove, I'm going to use a scripture to prove this. Because I could tell you, but I'll prove it to you. Now before I get where I'm going to go to prove it, I'm going to just tell you the word Egypt means, it was known as the house of bondage. Mizraim was known as the house of bondage in the ancient world. And you can actually use the scriptures to prove that. We're going to go to, let's see, Exodus. We're going to go to Exodus 12, chapter 20. It's a lot. Exodus 12, 20. 1 second. Exodus 12, 20. So we're going to do that. Oh, that's a lot. We're going to go to Exodus 20, my bad. Okay. Verse 2, Exodus 22. So it says, you can flip there with me. Obviously, you should. You should have your Bible with you, in front of you. It says, Exodus 20, verse 2. I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. So Egypt was known as the house of bondage. So let's flip back. Deuteronomy 28:68. All right. So let's see. So he's saying right here, the father's telling him, he's giving this prophecy to he's giving this prophecy to Mashah, Moses, and he's giving it to the Israelites. Okay. And it says, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So we just broke that down. That first word was critical. Egypt. It means the house of bondage. So he's saying, and what's another word for bondage? Slavery. Right? So he's saying, I'm gonna bring you back into slavery again. But the key thing here now is with ships. Now, anybody that understands geography and the geography, just geography period, we know that Israel is very close. I mean, they was able to walk from Egypt to the land we was inhabiting, which became Israel, which was basically right up the street, you know, for lack of better words. So they didn't need a ship. They walked from Egypt and they walked to Egypt. All right. Now, this is revealing right here. It said, "And the Lord will bring thee into Egypt again." So and the Lord will bring thee into Egypt again with ships. So I'm gonna bring you into slavery again, but this time it's gonna be with ships. Now they never went back into Egypt, according to the Bible. They never went back. They never went back into Egypt. Actual Egypt, actual Mizraim. They never went back. And they damn sure didn't go back by ships. Okay. Now, this got to be a future prophecy then, automatically. Now it says, by the way, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. So where I used to talk to you at, Father used to pull up in pillars. You know, I'm gonna keep it simple because it might be this for the as the Apostle Paul says, the babes. So we're gonna keep it simple. So the when you read the first 5 books of the Bible, after this point, well, before this point, after the point of Exodus, when they made the Exodus in the book of Exodus, learning about when they made the great Exodus, leaving, they used to pitch tents, and the Father used to travel with them, dwell with them, sojourn with them, everywhere the children of Israel would go, being led by, Masha, Moses, Aharon, Aaron, and his sons, the priests. Now, he used to pull up. He used to dwell. He would basically let them know when to leave the campground that they were pitching. All the Israelites. They left out of Egypt with over 600,000 people. So this was a big campground. So the Father had to, be over his people. So how he would stay over his people, he would watch them at night, like a nightlight, or like a security guard, like a father. And he used to sit above the campground. And what you know is the cloud. Like I said, I'm gonna keep it simple. Now, and he would travel with him in that cloud. He would come down, all through using this. So back to the point. Now, that's what he's saying right here. By the way, whereof I spake unto thee, your land, where I used to talk to you at. He used to come down in that. He used to talk to us. And obviously he spoke by the mouth of his prophets. Luke 1 chapter 70. Luke chapter 1 verse 70. He said, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, so your land, where I used to talk to you at, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So just getting to the point, anybody with common sense know that sounds like slavery. That sounds like the transatlantic slave trade. And you got many so-called scholars out there that would like to argue that, okay, and it's fact, but we're not going to get into that, well, it was other slavery, but we're going to prove this real quick. And I'm going to ask a question. And you can answer in the comments, below. We can have a dialogue amongst each other. Now, who else do you know that went into slavery by ships? Who else do you know that went into slavery on slave ships? Says it right there. All right, we're going to go to the book of Daniel real quick. The book of Daniel. And we're going to go to chapter 9. We're going to go to verse 12. All right, we're going to prove something. So you can't be a believer of this Bible and you don't believe all of this. Because people think the Israelites just disappeared. But it's telling you, it's giving you prophecy what possibly in the ancient time could be their demise. Could be what would possibly be their situation. Future dated. But yet, we got people that supposedly read the Bible act like they don't know this or don't know this. And you're not going to hear this in church. I never heard this in church. All the Israelites that had to wake up because we came into this. Well, that's given away. But you hear it now, so you obviously know this. But so everybody that, was waking back up into their identity, we didn't know this. So Daniel chapter 9, verse 12. Okay, it says, and my point of pulling this is because, like I said, the point of what I was getting to was, um, you can't you can't believe in segments of the Bible. You can't believe in segment of verses. You can't John 3:16 it. You can't and only know that and then nothing else you want to hear. You gotta believe the whole truth. That's it. That's what the truth is. The Father, he hates lukewarm. All right. He wishes that he use either hot or cold. That's a Mashayak talking, but he speaks the Father's words. All right. So you got to pick a side. You either believe it or you don't. So if this is said to happen to the Israelites, and we don't know anybody on the planet Earth that went into slavery by slave ships by almost a million at a time, 500,000 at a time, right? Except the so-called Negroes, the only people. And we're going to prove that. Daniel chapter 9, verse 12. And he had confirmed his words, which he spoke against us and against our judges that judge us, by bringing upon us a great evil. A great evil. For under the whole heaven hath not been done as has been done upon Jerusalem. I'm going to read it again. And he had confirmed his words, which had spake against us and against our judges that judge us, by bringing upon us a great evil. For under the whole heaven had not been done as has been done upon Jerusalem. So Jerusalem is basically synonymous for the obviously the nation of people that you know you know correlate obviously with are synonymous with Jerusalem, which is the Israelites. So what has happened to the Israelites? What happened to the Israelites has not happened to no one else. It hasn't. The heavens haven't witnessed it. What has came upon them, and we're gonna confirm. We're confirming that it happened. With this being said, he said it, and he had confirmed his words. Okay, so and we gonna jump down to 13 too. As it is written in the law of Moses, who was just talking, who was telling that to the Israelites in Deuteronomy 28:68. See how the whole Bible is in perfect orchestration. You got non-believers and lukewarmers that's out there, that's out here, wanting to be selective. You gotta believe it. You gotta believe the whole thing, no matter how you feel about it. Subdue your mind. There's a way that's right to a man, you know, but uh, the end is the way of death. Paraphrasing. Okay, so you gotta be with this whole thing. Okay, it says, as it is written in the law of Moses, all this evil is come upon us. So it happened. Yet made we not our prayer before the Lord our God, that we might turn from our iniquities and understand thy truth. Therefore, verse 14, therefore hath the Lord watched upon the evil and brought it upon us. So it happened. What Masha told them, Moses, what he told them in Deuteronomy 20:68, yes, it happened. The Israelites went back into slavery by ships. For the Lord our God is righteous in all his works, which he doeth. For we obeyed not his works. So in other words, they're saying, on the understanding, they're saying that to be basically to just to give you understanding righteousness It simply is doing the law. All right. And what is sin? The transgression of the law. Okay. So when you transgress, basically that means you're disobedient. You don't do it. You don't live up to it. So what they're saying here is the opposite of that. They're saying that the Father lives up to everything. He come through on everything. He does. He's righteous. Okay. So that's it. So let's go back to Deuteronomy 28:68. I mean, yeah, 28:68. All right. So, and the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. So, another word for buy is what? Redeem. And what's another word for redeem? Save. So, no man was going to save the Israelites. And they were going to be sold as bondmen and bondwomen. So that's the number one way, and it's confirmed that happened to the Israelites. So this is the number one way you know that the Negroes, just like everybody else on the planet, that that's truth, that's trying to be in the truth, because there is none righteous. We all fall short, as far as the Israelites. But for it's people out here that know this. So this is just the number one way you prove and you know that the so-called Negro man, woman, and children, or child, are the people of this Bible. Because this whole Bible is about the Israelites. All right. Only time you get mention of other nations is when they come into coexistence with the the Israelites, or we're going to war with them, or they're being used to afflict them. That's pretty much it. You know, the Israelites, you know, we just historically known for going off amongst ourselves, and that's just what the that's just what the word shows me. You know, as far regarding that matter. All right, so Negroes are the people of the Bible. That's proven. So we're gonna move on. We're gonna move on to which are, in parentheses we got right here, the children of Israel. We just proved that. Jews. You didn't know you were a Jew. So this Jew is just simply, um, it comes from the word Judah. All right, which is a tribe that makes, which is one tribe that makes up the 12, that helps make up, complete the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, and the 12 tribes of Israel are the progenitors of those 12 tribes are Jacob, who became Israel, 12 sons, and each one became a progenitor, predecessor, basically of a direct line of people, body of people. So you got the tribe of Reuben all the way to, which is the firstborn son, all the way to the lastborn son, which is Benjamin. All right, they brought forth people, and all those they brought forth sons. Everybody that came from the loins of Reuben, um, everything that came out of his loins will be considered the tribe of Reuben. Just like everything that came out of the loins of Benjamin will be considered, um, the tribe of Benjamin. Now we're all related, obviously, and that's just that simple. So That's just the understanding on that real quick. All right, so these Jews are not these people walking around. But we ain't, because we got that on here, so we'll save that for the next for video 7. Okay, part 7 to this. We're gonna make this a 10-part video. We're gonna make 10 videos out of this. Okay, so you're a Jew. We're gonna prove that really quick. But we don't call ourselves Jews, and that's a beautiful thing. And people who, in the scriptures, as they are to be, are exhorted to be, you know that. I'm sure you get my drift. So, Song of Solomon, we're gonna start in chapter 1. Song of Solomon, chapter 1, and we're gonna start verse 5. 1 second. Right. Okay. There we go. Salakia. Okay. The Song of Solomon. We're going to start at 5. So it says, I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the tents of Solomon. So we're going to stop right there. So this is not necessarily proving that, you know what? We are proving that. This is proving both. So this is proving that the first one, the children of Israel and Jews at the same time, because Solomon is the son of David, which is from the tribe of Judah. Okay, so he says, I am black, but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, as the tents of Kedar, as the curtains of Solomon. Okay. Right there, people that's just bothered by the truth, that despise the word, Proverbs 13:13. They would try to argue that that's not talking about, his skin. So let's read on. We stay in context. Let's get more context. Verse 6. Look not upon me because I am black. Look not upon me because I am black. Because the sun hath looked upon me. My mother's children were angry with me, Salakia. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but mine own vineyard have I not kept. Tell me. We're going to stop right there. So that's it. He's telling you he's out in the sun working and he's getting black. That's what was going on. Okay? So he's talking about his skin. So there you go right there. It's not rocket science. For all those who have ears to hear. All right, we're going to move over to Jeremiah 14:1. Get into these Jews more. All right, Jeremiah 14:1. We're going to start at the top. The word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah concerning the dearth. Verse 2. Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. They are black unto the ground, and the cry of Jerusalem is gone up. All right, so Judah mourneth, and the gates thereof languish. So the gates are basically being symbolic for leaders, the front man, right? And if you know what language mean, okay, let's see. So what's going on, Israel? This is Brother Kayan.